I'm fine. I'm Larry Bly.
I'm Doug Patterson.
And we're
Cooking Cheap.
Welcome to the show.
Hey.
We just got things bubbling and going and all sorts of stuff.
Have you ever seen so much stuff in your life?
I want to show you something.
Okay.
I was reminded of this by our lovely director, Miss Carol, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'll need a close-up on this. This is a product that I've never actually seen until the other day, but I've certainly heard plenty about it. Cornichons.
Who?
There they are. They actually exist. Cornichons. You may not know it, but this little gherkin, this little pickle, which is described, by the way, as a baby sour gherkin, is what started Cookin' Cheap.
Really?
Have one.
Thank you.
Here's a toast to our old friend, Mr. Laban Johnson, because he couldn't find these one time, and they were required for a recipe, and he'd never heard of them.
And they're good.
And couldn't find them. Back in those days, we didn't have
fancy
schmancy stuff that we get today in this area.
Ooh,
Pretty good, huh?
Very good.
So we owe our humble beginnings on Cookin' Cheap
to
the Cornichon.
And now we have 2 jerkins.
Ooh. I'll not be commenting on that. Okay. I think it's time to figure out what we're doing.
I hope so, because
for the show.
I sure hate to think I brought all this
I think I know, because I spent most of the weekend doing it.
So did I.
So let's see that wet chair. There's that wet there.
Ooh, she nearly took the dive in the old sauce.
You want to read it?
Nope.
Are you seeable today?
No.
Okay. All right. Oh, excuse me. Dear Larry and Doug, you guys have been getting off too easy.
Hey.
Doing those little silly recipes that require few skills and 6 minutes of your time. Can you believe that?
Excuse me.
You need to get some serious recipes. You know, the kind that put meat on your bones and on your table. Get with it or get off the air. Carl Neveris, Spittoon, Kentucky.
Oh, well.
Carl Neveris. You got to say it right, or it doesn't make any sense. Well, perhaps it doesn't
make much sense to begin with.
Well, as it turns out, we're both going to do
major stuff.
doodahs that go on forever. And was yours a lot of work? No, she says
we gave her the easy one.
We gave her the easy one for a change. Normally, we give her.
Yeah.
I'm going to do pork, cabbage, and sauerkraut, sent in by Marilyn and Ed Bain from Lynchburg, Virginia.
We know them, don't we?
I think that we're going to have to just have them on the show
them in the land,
because we've got all the recipes. Yeah, that's right.
Don't you think? I'm doing chicken and spaghetti sent in by a fan on the internet.
Very good.
Don't you love that?
Yeah. And Miss Doris is doing reduced cholesterol pecan pie.
Ooh.
Why bother?
That's true.
Sent in by Sally Faye Smothers from Bluefield, West Virginia.
Did you make up that name?
No, I certainly did not.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell us what you're going to do, Doug.
Well, I'm just going to be chopping and dicing and bless you,
sneezing
Andre.
and coughing and snorting and sniffing the air.
I think it's us. Every time we walk in here, he sneezes. You notice that?
I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm going to chop up a medium onion, 2 ribs of celery, and a half of green pepper, and saute those little yummies in some olive oil. How does that grab you? So that'll be what I'm going to be doing first. I also put 8 ounces of spaghetti on. Do it ahead of time. Okay, here we go. So we got your little onions. I started it because we will be here until the cows come home, and they are on their way, from what I understand. Don't you know? Did you? I thought Larry left on me. So here we go. Got the old onions. Don't you love this? We're going real fast here today on the old chopping because it is boring, I grant you. And there they go into the old potaruski. Now, the nice thing about this, Larry, is it's a one-pot dish. And you just, here goes
that's always fun.
Half a green pepper.
I'm being extremely quiet because...
You don't know what you're doing.
No, I am supposed to take some carrots, and I got to get them real thin, and I just don't like...
Carrots?
Well, they're real hard, and it's a good way to lose a finger. So I'm concentrating heavily on getting these carrots cut down a little bit until I can get them under control.
And people have gotten real huffy on us on this chopping.
Well,
my friend Michelle is one of the biggest yellers at me.
Yeah. Well, she just has a tendency to be a little on the grumpy side anyway.
I know, and she was an award winner the other night.
Yeah.
So I can see you're thrilled. Larry didn't get an award. I don't think. Did you?
Another award-losing year. Huh?
Did you get an award?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, never mind. But you He is a former ad man of the year.
Silver medalist.
I sort of have
a lifetime achievement.
Right. And he is
I don't feel
deserving.
like I need to apologize for not winning anything anymore.
Okay. Jeez. I'm sorry I brought that subject up. Sheesh.
I've taken 3 carrots.
Who cares anymore?
And I've sort of brought them down to these little nubs, and I'm gonna cut them one time that way. First thing we have to do is we start out that this makes a mighty big amount of stuff. You see how large this is? This is as big as a Buick.
That's one serving.
That's just that was pretty good.
Thank you. Okay.
Anyway, this is almost full.
I'll be here all week.
So you're going to have to start. I started out with a container this large and very quickly abandoned hope. I went running back into the pantry and found this great big
Don't you hate that?
Yeah.
When you're going along and you think you got it all
Well, it
planned
starts out with 5 to 6 pounds of either country spare ribs or pork loin, and I got pork loin.
Yummy, yum, yum,
Very
yum.
pretty one too, I might add.
It is quite
The first thing you do is put that in the pot and put water over it and start bringing it to a boil.
Well, that's delicious looking. You cook these veggies until they wilt, which I think is kind of funny, because if you hang over it, all this thing, you'll wilt. And now you're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper. Ooh. I think I'll go a tad less. And 2 tablespoons. Now, did you hear me on that one, Lair?
What is that now?
2 tablespoons of garlic.
Oh, wow. I love this recipe already.
This will be cleaning the spots off your shirt.
Throw the rest of it away and keep the garlic.
Right.
Boy, I'm glad this water has to come to a boil. It's looking a little murky today.
Aren't we all? I mean, this thing, you're going to be smelling this thing in Vinton. That's a town not too far from
Ooh, that smells
the
great,
station.
though. I can already smell it, and I'm not in Vinton.
Right. We wish you were.
Did that make any sense?
Ooh.
Okay. So anyway, just trying to get myself into this thing. So bring that water to a boil, okay?
To a what?
To a boil.
Thank you.
And then we start adding ingredients, which is a large onion sliced. And I'm going to start slicing up a large onion. And now back to Douglas, who is doing big things in the pot over here.
Ah, yeah. Can you smell this, station people? Ooh. Yummy. Now you're only going to...
All the way down to the development
That's
department.
it. They'll be running in here thinking that we've done something really horrible.
Trying to develop something.
Oh, yeah, well.
Oh, well.
Whatever. Now, take a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes and their juice.
Just plain old diced or not Italian diced? Or
No, just regular old tomatoes. Isn't that nice for a change?
Have a recipe.
You don't have to go find, you know, Yugoslavian cut on the bias tomatoes or whatever. I'm telling you.
I just had those last week. They're wonderful, those Yugoslavian cut on the bias.
Now, here's another little tasty treat for you, Lair.
What?
2 tablespoons of pesto, and buy the prepared.
There's a smart man.
Well, I'm telling you, that's what the recipe said.
Is that so?
And I thought they were geniuses on that. Whoever the internet fan is, nice going. We love you for that. And now you're going to cook this for 15 minutes. Oh, yeah. So I'm pretty much stopped for a secondo. So if you'd like to continue on with your recipe.
Okay, well, here's what we're adding to this mixture right now. Well, some carrots and onions, a big onion sliced.
Ooh.
Now, I also have some sauerkraut over here.
Boy, you have everything.
And the sauerkraut, this requires a great deal of stuff. It really does. And I'm draining the sauerkraut. Miss Doris and I both have an agreement on this, and that is...
doing your laundry.
Well, I did. My shorts were in there earlier. Just joking. Anyway, we both agree that we like the brine that comes with it, but a lot of people are real finicky about it. I can understand it if you buy it out of the can, that it might have a tinny taste, but this calls specifically for the stuff in the bag, which is fresher, which is in the dairy case. But they still want you to do that anyway, so I'm just going to take it back here, and I'm just going to wash it off just a little bit, just a little tiny bit, not much, and make sure that we drain it thoroughly. And then we're going to put that in the mixture.
Ooh, I'm telling you.
So anyway,
these things are like the mixtures, aren't they?
it's really incredible. It really is. So let me rake this stuff off into here. All of this goes in there.
That would be a nice little Oktoberfest number, wouldn't it?
It really would. We've decided that this sounds like a Pennsylvania Dutch recipe of some sort or the other. We think it might be.
Where's it from?
And we get a lot of recipes from up in Philly. Strangely enough, this one is not. This was from Lynchburg.
Oh.
So anyway, and I'll finish this when you got some things to, or
no,
you just waiting?
No, I'm
okay.
waiting for the old boiling.
This calls for something called Savoy cabbage chopped and red cabbage. Well, there's the red cabbage. The Savoy was not available at this time of the year in this area, I am told by my grocer, who was a very helpful gentleman. And I said, well, what would be a good substitution? And he says, well,
how about cabbage?
Just plain old, yeah. But there was also some
away.
Chinese, which looks very different, Chinese cabbage, which is very tall and it has all of these little frilly leaves and all this. And he said it has very similar texture and taste, and that could also be a substitute.
Oh.
But it was much more expensive, and because this is cooking cheap,
there you go.
Forget it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
There you go. Half of a head, chopped, however you wish. So that's what we're going to do. Chopped. And boy, I tell you, put this in there on top of
sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut and everything. And you talk about a house that's aromatic. Open the window, Louise.
You should have called me. I would have brought my garlic over for you.
We could have had a great time. That goes in there. Boink, like so.
Well,
and then I'm not going to put this entire thing in here because this is a slightly smaller container than the other one. So I'm just going to, for purposes of show, I'm going to put some of it in there, but not all of it in there. The red.
Okay.
Okay. What you got?
I have cooked up a pound of chicken, and I've diced it. And now you're going to add the chicken to this mixture.
Ooh.
Isn't that pretty?
What'd you do? Just
I burled it.
All right.
That would be boiled for those of you who are not from the East Coast.
Burled, huh?
Like I am. Okay, I'm from the Midwest, but I lived in the New York area for a while. And you heat this, so get the chicken all nice and toasty warm.
That's looking better all the time.
Isn't that good?
I'm proud of you, Doug.
Thank you so much. And I'm kind of proud of you with all that stuff.
The worst thing was carrying it.
It's an undertaking.
To at least 3 different points of interest today while on my way in here. If this is all I had to do. So what are you doing now?
I'm heating the chicken thoroughly.
Oh, okay.
Because we have to, there's 2 ways to bake this thing. And I'll tell you about it in a little bit because I'm killing time here.
I think we ought to go to the Cook sisters.
Are they here?
Yeah.
Love them.
We have to pretend like they're here, but they really are here. It's a TV thing.
Hey, Toots.
Huh?
I'm here to talk to you about moldy fruit.
Don't you call me that.
I'm sorry. Actually, I think I dated him once.
Moldy fruit.
You remember him, Moldy Fruit? He lives down the street a bit.
It was an old prune.
I think so. Well, I got to tell you about it. What you should do when fruit with mold, what would you do with it?
I don't even understand what you just said.
Well, I'm sorry. I said,
what would you do
with
with fruit with mold?
With fruit that has mold on it?
No, I don't know.
Well, you just throw that baby away because it doesn't do you no good. And that's what it says right here on my tip-o-rama sheet.
Throw it away. What a tip.
You don't cut it off because it goes deeper. The mold goes deeper and deeper.
I'm Tootsie Cook.
I'm Roxy Cook,
and
we're the Cook sisters.
All right. Well, I'm cooking this one,
them.
Doris. So anyway, that was wonderful. Thank you very much. Now, in goes the red kibbage.
Ooh, a colorful dish to boot.
It really is. And then it calls for either freshly ground pepper to taste or about 12 peppercorns. And I have this lovely little peppercorn mix that I just bought the other day with green peppers and red. So I'm going to put some of those in there. And it calls for a bay leaf. Goes in there. Let's get a nice big one. That goes in. And caraway. This is the secret thing. The tablespoon of caraway.
Caraway.
And believe me, you really smell that when it's cooking. And put that in there. And that's it. And you cook it, you boil it for about 2 or 3 hours or until the pork is tender.
Yum.
And 2 or 3 hours actually does do the job. I did it in this heavy thing with a lid on it. So it cooked very, very nicely. And that's that. And in a few minutes, I'll try to get all of the stuff out of there. Oh, my great big old turkey, what do you call it? Turkey roaster. The word roaster went right off my head. What are you doing?
I'm going to go drain my sketty now.
Do you need this colander?
Yes.
Oh, I've left it dirty.
No,
oh,
I got
you
it.
have one.
Oh. Oh, whatever. There it is. One time, baby. And you just drain, 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 drain.
Oh, we
drain,
want
drain,
to see
drain.
it all.
And here I come. Ready? Ready or not, here I come. Take your 8 ounces of spaghetti cooked and throw that into the mixture over here.
Oh,
And-
wow.
Oops, I nearly threw this away.
Almost threw the colander away. And make sure you dispose of that colander.
Very fast.
So now all you have to do now is
Now I'm
just
gonna-
kind of mix this
And
around.
then there's some more.
Oh,
and
there's
yet,
more.
And yet there's more.
Oh, my
Toss this around so everything is equally. To do that, then you're going to put it. They tell you you can mix this in the container you're going to bake this in. No, do it in the pot that you make all your stuff in, because it'll make it so much easier for you, and you won't be cleaning up this mess all over your floor. But anyway, there it is. So, hi Doris, how are you?
Oh, Miss Doris is here.
I'm fine. I had to do a reduced calorie pecan pie.
Yum.
This is adapted from a 1944 recipe, and it calls for egg substitute and soft margarine. I don't remember any of that in 1944. So
I don't remember
well, the only
1944.
oleo they had is when it looked like lard, and you had to mix the stuff into it.
The yellow
You know, yeah, the
coloring.
coloring into it and stuff.
Yeah.
But it takes 1 whole egg, a half a cup of egg substitute, 1 cup dark corn syrup, a 3/4 cup light brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of soft margarine melted, 1 cup of pecans, and 1 9-inch unbaked pastry shell. And you beat your eggs and egg substitute together. It says you can use a mixer, and in a heavy pan you mix together sugar and syrup at 228 degrees, and that sort of set me in a panic, because the very first time I ever made pecan pie, I had never even seen pecan pie, and I kept testing it, you know, waiting for the thing to come out. And by the time that thing cooled off, it was crystallized. I mean, it was a rock.
Waiting for what thing
Because,
to come out?
well, pecan pie is soft, you know, and I kept putting a toothpick in, and it kept coming out
Oh, I see.
wet.
So it never really set up.
So, it set up, and I cooked it, and it was like a rock. I mean, really, it was like a rock. You couldn't,
But you know, it
couldn't
looks
do anything.
looks
But-
beautiful.
But that was the very first one I made. That was years and years ago. Years ago.
gorgeous.
But I tasted it the other day. I made 2, and
Yum.
not for you.
Oh.
I decided I'm going to get.
Listen to Doug. He says,
Well, I decided. Well, this is one of my very favorite pies.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure we got to taste it.
I think that was a disparaging
I don't know if I
remark.
can get it out. Yeah. There we go.
Well, look at that. And beautiful
it is.
too.
And even with the fakey eggs and whatever and stuff in it, it turned out really good.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Doris. Nice to have you here. Doug, I think you have a little more assemblage.
I do. This thing does go on, but it's so good. You put it in your baking dish. Now, if all the ingredients are hot, you throw on the sharp cheddar cheese, and wait until, and then you throw it in the oven just for a little bit until the cheese melts. And it's a 350-degree oven. But if you're like me, you made it ahead, it's cold, you can bake it for 45 minutes at 350, and again until the cheese melts. And oh baby, you gotta believe that looks good, now don't it?
It does. It's beautiful.
I'll go see if the other one is done.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, I am trying to make some sense out of this, how to display this. This is very, very runny. What I would suggest you do, if you don't want to serve it individually, is to put your veggies around on the side. It's very colorful. You've got, you just need to keep draining it is what you need to do. Put those
yummy.
around on the side.
Yum,
Isn't that beautiful?
yum, yum.
And the meat is literally
Falling
falling to pieces. So you can actually eat it with a fork if you are a mind to. So there we go. Now put it down here,
Your hand is burning off.
and on the side
And yet there's more.
it calls for potatoes and applesauce. The applesauce is already, I just got finished making the applesauce. It's
It was
fabulous.
horrible.
It was so what are these? Ooh, they are still warm. We just microwaved these. I prepared them when I was preparing this first
love
meal.
red
So anyway,
potatoes.
serve some red potatoes on the side and also a little bit of applesauce. And there you go. There's your presentation. And you can mound the meat up or do any number of things. Slice it. You can actually slice this still. That's the great thing. See, look at this.
That is
This is a very
gorgeous.
big hunk of meat. But as you can see, you could slice it right in there or take it off on the side and slice it for presentation purposes. So I think that...
millions.
Oh yes, I guess better do the recipes. The pork cabbage sauerkraut, pork loin, 5 or 6 pounds, or if you want to do this with spare ribs, you can with the excess fat removed because you'll have plenty of fat. 1 onion sliced, a half head of Savoy cabbage, if you can find it chopped, if not use green. Half a head of red cabbage chopped, 3 carrots cut in julienne strips, a pound of sauerkraut, a tablespoon of caraway seed, freshly ground pepper to taste, or 12 peppercorns, and a bay leaf, and put all that in there. And cover it with water and bring it to a boil for 2 or 3 hours.
Chicken and spaghetti. 1 pound cooked chicken cut into small dice. 2 tablespoons olive oil, 2 ribs of celery, 1 medium onion, 1/2 of a bell pepper. That's optional. Yummy, put it in. 2 tablespoons finely chopped garlic. 2 tablespoons purchased pesto. 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes in juice. 1/4 teaspoon crushed red, oops, I forgot to crush them, red pepper flakes.
We'll forgive you.
An 8-ounce box weight of spaghetti cooked, and 6 ounces, I like more, of cheddar, sharp cheddar cheese grated, salt to taste.
All right.
There you go.
Is it out yet?
No, but you go and I'll go get it.
Oh, okay. Great.
If I don't step on your wire while you do that.
And serve up some fine servings of this meal. It looks to be a very substantial meal, a meat and potatoes kind of a meal, and so we'll make sure that Dougie Poo gets plenty of vegetables on the side.
Yes, I've been accused of not eating vegetables much.
There you go. Oh, doesn't that look pretty?
Okay, move the platter, would you?
Okay.
Thank you. You're a jewel. Oops, I forgot to bring a shovel.
That is very, very lovely.
and
Miss
there's
Doris
the
to the
lovely Doris.
rescue. Doris,
As always.
off to the side. Boy, this is a lot of stuff, I'm telling you.
Okay. Here you go, Lair. Give me a plate, baby.
Alrighty.
Oop. Oh, I'm making a mess.
Oh, wow. Pretty meal, don't you think? It's just lovely. And of
pretty
course, you
good
put a little pie in there on the side. Ooh,
Yummo.
Who can argue with that? Am I going to cauterize my mouth
Yeah,
with this?
well, I don't know. May not have been in for enough time.
Doug, I like it. It's wonderful. It's well worth the time involved.
And the
It
pork,
really is
the
nice
pork is
presentation.
superb.
Is it really? You like pork?
I do. I always have, always will. What is that?
I haven't tried the pork yet.
Yum.
We seem to have a wobbly table. Either that or I'm a little wobbly.
Well, you know, that is good. I might have a little doubt here, you know, about so much garlic.
That's terrific.
I suppose you could get it down to your own taste, but
I
I say
reckon
go
so.
for the 2 tablespoons.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm anxious to try. Well, we have 2 great recipes here, and then we have this fatless pecan, fat-free or reduced fat. I believe that's what it is. It looks like a pecan.
And it tastes like a pecan pie.
Too.
And it's delicious. Can I have the other one, Doris?
I'm impressed.
Because not she ate it?
She didn't bring it. She left it back home.
Well, she was smart.
Well, we do indeed have ourselves a substantial and delicious meal on
Actually,
Cooking Cheap.
2 meals. Who knew?
I know. I don't think one would normally have spaghetti with this, or vice versa, but
But it is
it
delicious.
is a wonderful, wonderful meal. So there you go. You just can't fool America.
It's delicious. We'll
There's
see
no
you
way
soon.
we could fake anything this marvelous.
I know. We're so good.
Bye-bye.